Welcome to my video on the VOR explained. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please do so now so you don't miss out any upcoming live streams and videos. Let's get started. So the VOR is this construction you see in front of you, located on some airports. Not every airport has a VOR, and you'll find them usually just off center from the runway threshold, on just one threshold. So in this case there will not be a VOR on the other side of the runway. So what is a VOR? So VOR is short for a very high frequency omnidirectional radio range. So what this basically means for us, a VOR, it simply sends out signals that we home into to actually fly to the VOR or away from the VOR. So how it actually works is, in total in a VOR there is transmitters. Now in total there's 359 transmitters. Each of them transmit a phase difference signal. So phase difference, that just means it's two radio signals, and each one is a little bit different than the previous one. So we basically log on to the VOR, if you want to put it in that terms, and once logged on in our VOR, we then set up to which radial we want to fly with. So a radial is a magnetic like a magnetic field, not a magnetic field, and just a magnetic heading that's actually been put out by the VOR. And then depending on this 359 magnetic headings that you actually need, that's being radiated outwards, we then simply set the VOR up to log in or home into one of these radials, and then either fly to it or from it. So what I want you to understand in this lesson right here, you can almost see this is like a compass card. So your VOR, it always radiates your signals outwards. So from your VOR going outwards. So, and it always works in magnetic heading. So this one will be then the 360 degree heading. This one will be then the 090, and so forth. So let me show you a little bit closer on the map. Now if you want to see on a map or chart a VOR, then it's basically this hexagon symbol on the charts. If it's got a DME in it, then you'll have this square also surrounded by the hexagon. I'm just going to put on for now the compass rose card from the aircraft. So it works basically similar the VOR. So if we put the aircraft close to the VOR, you can actually then sense it as it's actually sending out a signal towards 300, or a signal out for 270. So with this being said, is we need then to either fly with one of these radials or away to it. So this is going to be what's called your inbound when you're flying towards the VOR, and outbound when you are flying away from the VOR. And the third one is routing direct to the VOR. So this just means you do not try to intercept any of the outgoing radials. You are simply just flying directly to the VOR station. So let's get a little bit more into how you set up your aircraft for a VOR. So the first thing is to get your VOR's frequency. So let me just get back for you on this part. So as you can see on our radio stack, your VOR is located just under your communication frequency. Now if and here is your VORs on the left. Now the first VOR is your primary VOR that you set, and then if you go to your second radio, here's VOR number 2. So this is our secondary VOR that we can also use or use for backup. Now the first things first, you need to actually know what your VOR frequency is that you're actually trying to fly to. So how do we get it? If you got a simulator, you simply click on your VOR and then it will tell you 117.4. But if you want a more realistic approach, where can I find my VOR frequency? So what you can do, I've actually went and downloaded what's called a approach plate or aerodrome plate. So what you can do is you go to Google, then you either type in the airport that you are at. For instance, we're now at Lanseria International, or the ICAO designator, followed by the aerodrome plate. Then you should actually then get a website with your airport's aerodrome plates. Now like I said, all airports do not have a VOR, so just make sure it does have a VOR. So now we are actually scrolling down to this bottom. You're going to look for a box that says VOR. This one is a combined VOR and DME. Now DME, that stands for distance measuring equipment. So that just is able to tell us how far are we actually from the VOR. We'll get that into a minute. Then underneath you are going to see dots and lines. This is the Morse code that spells Lima India Victor. This is how we're actually going to test if we are on the correct VOR. So let's get started. So let's say we looked on our VFR maps or on the plate or simulator, and we saw, okay, now our frequency for the VOR is 117.4. Now we can go ahead and set our VOR. So to set your VOR, to get first from your normal radio frequencies over to the VOR, let me zoom in a little bit. You can click once, then the highlighted feature will pop over, and then you can see 117 was already set for us. But let's say it wasn't set and it was actually set on 117.5 for unknown reason. For standby mode, your VOR would simply be in a default position and would not show any flags or any for that matter. So what you're going to do, you're going to go ahead, set your VOR to 117.4, click the switch over button, and then you will actually see your needles in the VOR is alive. So what you need to know from a VOR that's very important, it's called flags. You will have two flags. If you look right at the bottom, this is your from flag, indicating you are flying away from a VOR station. Now let me just go ahead and show you the to flag, and if you get a flag showing up, it means you are flying towards the station, so to the station. Perfect. So now we've set our VOR. We've got a free term that we actually use to make sure we are always on the correct VOR. It's called tune, identify and test. So firstly, we have now tuned our VOR on 117.4 for Lanseria. Now we are going to do what's called identify. or VOR. We do this then by pressing nav 1, because we are using the primary or number 1 VOR. So you go ahead, press nav 1, and then you should then start hearing a beep or that Morse code. So then you can just follow that Morse code and confirm you are on the actual VOR. Once you've confirmed it is correct, you can then go ahead and switch off, and we are gonna then go into the test mode. So the test mode is you just turn the VOR so you have your needle centered in the middle. It can be either the to flag or from flag. Then you're gonna turn your needle or your OBS just to 10 degrees either to the left or right, and you're gonna confirm you are gonna get a 10-degree deflection out of the needle. So how do I know that's 10 degrees? Because the last dot on every VOR symbolizes 10 degrees. So then, and this middle is 0, so anything in between we can then divide that, take that number divided by 10, then we know how much each dot represents. So in this instance we've got 5 dots, meaning each dot represents 2 degrees. So then we turn the OBS back, get a needle centered, and then we turn 10 degrees to the other side, confirming we've got a 10-degree deflection. So now we know we've tuned the VOR, we've identified it is indeed Lima India Victor for land Syria, and we've tested to confirm it is in operational working condition. Perfect. So this is how you actually then get yourself sorted. Now what I want you to show a bit is just more or less how the radials function. So let me just get outside of the aircraft quickly here for a moment, and then we'll work it from here. So what I want to bring to your attention, we can only utilize, I'm just going to go ahead and pause this for a second. Let's maybe get ourselves airborne a little from here to about 7,000 feet or 6,000, and perfect. Let's just unpause and move us just the aircraft a little bit out of the way. Fantastic. Okay, switch off the compass rose. So what I want you to show now, if we remember the compass rose, from here it will literally show probably a magnetic heading of 300 of the radial. But our heading on the aircraft, if we are flying towards the VOR, will then show 120. So do not confuse your aircraft's heading with the radial of the VOR. That's two separate things. So I'm going to go ahead now and switch off the compass rose of the aircraft. So always remember your VOR is just, we're now in the southern hemisphere in South Africa, so north is always showing upwards in this case. So from this station we can only use the radials that is coming towards us in this section. So I almost want to say you can fly anything that's between 180 degrees to 360 radials on that part. This is where everybody actually gets it wrong, because when they actually try and fly it at home, because they now want to fly towards the station, but then I look on their compass or DI and see it's 120. Remember, I can't fly 120 radial, because if I actually put my aircraft on top or look at a VOR, then the 120 radial is radiating outwards towards the right. So I need to use basically anything from 270 to 360 that's on top. So always keep that in mind. Perfect. Okay, so now once we've established the radial, let's quickly go inside the aircraft again. So what I wanted to show you now, what I've just explained, you can see we are now currently on 300 radial. So let's see if that's true or not. Let me just unpause here. Okay, so what you can see, it shows us the radial that we are currently at towards the VOR. So it's a 3290 radial. Now, if I take my aircraft and let's just turn it about a little bit. Perfect. We'll get it from here. Now I want you to look at the heading indicator on top here. So I'm just struggling a little bit with this map version placement. If I turn my aircraft, I'm gonna unpause now just to get correct. So my heading shows still I'm on a heading of 330, but I'm still on the 324 or 329 radial of the VOR. So it doesn't matter where my aircraft is pointing in this scenario. So if it's pointing up towards the north, or if it's pointing down towards the south, my heading has got nothing to do with the VOR. It's simply from my aircraft to the VOR, or is I'm gonna have a radial. And if you understand that, that's gonna make going forward that much easier. Then I said we've got what's called the DME, or distance measuring equipment. So if you're gonna look on the first VOR, if it's set up, it's gonna show your distance in nautical miles. So we are now 1.1 nautical miles away from the Lancia or Lima India Victor VOR. So let me move that a bit for you to see. So let's take the aircraft, move it from here, just add some speed, so I need to change that a bit. Okay, let's move it out a bit more. Okay, so let's see where we are actually now. Let's give it a minute to correct itself. Perfect. So on the map, as you can see from here, we are now on a radial 146. So 146 degrees, and the distance to the VOR is 4.5 nautical miles. So with that being said, if you look in your VFR chart or charts, then you have probably spotted this circle with these numbers in it. So yes, you are correct. This is basically your VOR compass rose that you can actually then utilize. So what you can also do for navigation, if you are lost or you don't know where you are, but at least you know of two VORs, then you can set the two VORs, get a radial, draw a line from this VOR through the compass rose, do the same with the other one, measure your distance, and then you can also pinpoint your location. But we'll get to that more complex type of plotting a little bit later in the flight videos. Perfect. So that is what I wanted to show you today for the basic stuff on the VOR of how it actually works. For now, I just need you to grasp a little bit of how it works, and we are now going to take everything one step at a time, where first we're going to do a nice simple exercise where we just fly directly to a VOR, and once we've got that under control and know exactly what we are doing, then we are going to fly towards a VOR, but on a certain radial, meaning if I'm flying now at this point, they might want actually me to fly towards Lima India Victor on a 090. So that just means I want to take my aircraft, fly to 090, and then fly in on a 090 towards land Syria. Then the third and final one is intercepting our outbound radial. So say maybe I've taken off from my aircraft, but they want me to fly the 120 radial outbound. So that means after takeoff, I'm going to fly to intercept the 120 radial, and then I'll just keep going and flying outbound on the 120 radial outbound. So we're gonna try and make it as easy as possible for you guys on that one. Perfect. If there's any questions on the video, please comment below and I'll see how far I can assist you. Otherwise, subscribe, and I'll see you tomorrow for our first VOR lesson, and that is routing direct to the VOR. Have a wonderful day.